Okay, so what we're going to do in this section is we're going to talk about um, moving a file or files from um, After Effects into Premiere Pro. And let me go back to the After Effects document. So we're going to be doing this by using the dynamic link. Um, And I will tell you that I'm finding that there's some updates that I was looking to see that I did not see. And so if that happens to you, it's okay. But I think understanding this process is essential for you. And if updates, and I'll talk to you about that in a moment. If the updates work, great. If they don't work right now, it's okay. I think that there's been some updates with Adobe Creative Suite that might be sort of conflicting, just a few minor things. Okay, so what we're really doing here is we're learning how to move your After Effects documents or compositions in particularly into Premiere so that you can actually continue to work on them in Premiere. And what you should also be able to do is update images or media in After Effects, and it should also appear in your Premiere. Okay, so let's talk about doing that. The first thing that I will do is to create a Premiere Pro um, folder. Okay, so I've done this before so you can see that it's there, but I'm just going to create an empty Premiere Pro. I'm going to call it Premiere Pro 2 so that you guys can see me do it. Okay. Now, something I do want to draw your eye to is all those great red dots. So, when I'm showing you my chapter 5, I'm showing you the documents that you should have in your chapter 5 so that when you hand it in and I look for it, that all those things are there. Okay. So, I've said to you many times, you will not need all of these AEP files. I do save as's for each section so that it makes it easier for me to go back and forth if you have questions to show you one segment from each part of the chapters. But you don't need that. You just need the where the red dots are. You need the folder or the document of that. So we know that as soon as you start saving your AEP document, right? You only need one of those. Um, you will begin to get your After Effects autosave. So you're going to need that, of course. Then there are clips that came with this chapter. So Blend Cars came with it. We see that red dot. We see Blend Road, the MP4. You see that red dot. Then we see the JPEGs and some more MP4, JPEGs, MP4s that came with the folder, right? So these are the video clips and images that came with the folder. We see our PSD, which is for our Photoshop document, because we created our Photoshop here. And then you see that I put in my Premiere Pro, which is very new, right? So my Premiere Pro 2 is empty right now, which it should be. You will only have one Premiere Pro folder, not 1 and 2. You'll just have one. And then you'll see the proxy that we did earlier. And then you see that last MP4 here. Okay. So I create that first because I'm going to begin to um, open up my Premiere Pro, and when I do it, I'm going to create a new project, right? And I'm going to call mine Composition 2 because I already have one and I don't want to confuse it as I mentioned earlier. So when you look here, you'll see composite. So 2, just so that nobody gets confused. And then you're going to want to then set the location with your browser. Okay, so you're going to want to make sure that you have it in the correct spot. Okay, and the correct spot um, is going to be your Premiere Pro. Okay, so you're going to hit choose, and I'm going to come down here to this one, and then I'm going to hit OK. And with that, I'm going to go to File, Adobe Dynamic Link, and I'm going to go to Import After Effects Compositions. And so then with that, I'm going to my chapter 5, and I'm going to particularly pay attention to my After Effects document. Now you will not have all these, as I said, you will only have one. So I'm going to click on the one that the one that's for this particular section, but you'll just have one. And I can see here I have my folders from my project window, which is my comp, my media, and my solids. And so I'm going to particularly focus on my comps, right? And so the first one that I'm going to do is my blend road, right? And I'm just going to click on it, and I'm going to just drag it. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to click on it and hit OK. I'm so used to dragging. So there, and it's now there for me, okay? And for those of you who have already been in, know a little bit of something about After Effects or Premiere, you know that you can really just simply click on it and drag it to your timeline. Okay. Now I've already done some already, so I'm going to go ahead and take this one out. Okay. And you see it up here. Then what you'll see is that I actually brought in all of the other ones as well. And so let's do that. I'll go back to um, Adobe Dynamic Link, import After Effects, and I'm going to choose Connect. The After Effects one is, and then I chose my my compositions. Now I didn't choose the back runner because we didn't need to choose back runner. That was really meant to be a pre-comp that sat inside the greater composition of green screen comp, right? So go ahead and click the compositions that you have, which should be Backroad, green screen comp. You can include Mask 2, Talking Dog, and Track Mat. Okay, click those, and then you're going to hit OK when you click them. So when you click them all, you'll hit OK. And then they will appear here for you. I'll go here so you can see that. And then once you have them here, you can actually see them all play out. And I apologize for not muting all of those great sounds. And I'll put the sound back. And then, of course, you can render these. The thing that is also important to understand that you could do with that dynamic, let's just mute that again, is that you could change the color. You can alter effects that you've done in After Effects, and those updates should appear in your Premiere Pro. Now, I was having a problem with that, so I just wanted to caution you on that. So if it doesn't happen for you, the update, okay, all of what I've just done, you can do. But the problem came when I tried to update my colors for my Ruby's drive-in. So I'll go back to composition 2 so that you can see it, or composite 2. So you can see the difference in color, right? You see how that is in Ruby Red, Ruby's Drive-In, and this is Ruby's Drive-In here, and it's not showing the same way. So I'm going to try one more thing. I'm going to delete this, and I'm going to go back to my After Effects, and I'm going to try one more thing. Go to this one, and come here. So I'm in After Effects now, and I'm going to go back into my Ruby's Drive-In text, and I'm going to go to my layer style, because remember we put a layer style in there, and I'm going to go particularly to color. So I'm in gradient overlay. I'm going to go particularly to color, edit gradient, which is right here, and click on it. And I'm going to go ahead and click on the first one, and let's change it to like a magenta, right? And I think I'm going to leave it. Well, no, let's go ahead and copy this here and then paste. There we go. And it hits OK. And then I'm going to hit save. Okay. And so there we go. So then we have that color change. And so I realized when I was showing to you what I probably had done was I used the other um, comp, com, composition instead of the one that was actually in there. So that makes me feel better. So this is good because now you understand and you can see that if I bring in those After Effects compositions into my Premiere, I can work on them in Premiere, but I can also continue to work on them in After Effects and see those great updates come into Premiere. So you should be able to do this just fine. I think the problem that I ran into was simply because I had duplicates of each composition so that I could do one and show it to you and then do one and record the video with one. So it works just fine. I'm very happy camper. I hope you are with that. And so bring in the other ones, just as I mentioned. Go ahead and bring in those. And so that way you can have all of the comps that you did, the compositions that you did for chapter 5 on one sequence inside of Premiere. And then what we're going to do is, yes, you've guessed it right, we are going to render this. Force a habit for me to put the playhead at the end of the video. I'm just going to go to File, and I'm going to go to Export Media. And with my export media, you see how I have from beginning to end right here. We have our H.264. You want to click on your output, and I'm going to put mine in exports, and I created a chapter 5 folder there. Okay. And I've already rendered it once, so I'm going to render it again to do it in front of you all. So here we go. I won't call it, I'll just call it chapter 5. It already says chapter 5, so that's perfect. And it's an MP4, so I'm very good. And I can hit save, and then I can hit export. Okay, so once I hit export, it will begin to render, which is really nice. Just takes a few moments, and I'll have that full render. So you all do have to do your renders, and your renders can be in that render folder, or if you're wanting to create a render folder or a render file in each of your chapters. So it's usually easier to just put them all in the render folder so that it's easy to find them. Okay. But if you said, okay, I put the render for chapter 1 and chapter 1 and the render for chapter 2, that's okay, but it's best to just put them into the render folder. Okay? All right. So if you've completed this, congratulations, you've completed chapter 5. You can take a peek at the challenge if you want, but it's not required at this time. And I'll see you next time. Okay. And there we go.